Saturday night main event starts off with Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. They end up both coming out with their relative partners that we're assuming that's going to happen at SummerSlam with Logan Paul and Jelly Roll. Randy came out with Jelly Roll. Drew McIntyre came out with Logan Paul, which is very unfortunate because I was hoping that all the overreaction and freaking out of this being a potential SummerSlam match, which is fans overreacting, and I was giving WWE the benefit of the doubt. But the fact that they played a major role in this match is definitely telling that this is probably just going to be the SummerSlam match. You end up getting interferences from Logan Paul. He ends up putting Drew McIntyre's foot on the ropes. Then Jelly Roll ends up confronting Logan Paul. He puts Logan Paul down. This distracted Drew McIntyre allows Randy Orton to hit an RKO, picks up the victory. Then you get Logan Paul attacks Randy Orton. Then Jelly Roll pushes Logan Paul, ends up attacking Logan Paul, and then the babyface. Well, no, actually, I was going to say the babyface stands tall, but never mind. I forgot that Drew McIntyre ends up hitting a Claymore on Jelly Roll and then leaves the ring. So this is definitely leading to a SummerSlam match, which is very unfortunate because Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre deserves better. Like, I don't understand why have this as your SummerSlam match or potential SummerSlam match when, no offense, you could have done this with anybody. Like, you could have done this with other mid card guys. Like, you could have done this with Carmelo Hayes and like Ray Phoenix or someone. Like, the story plays out the same. You didn't really need this. Actually fits Carmelo Hayes and the Miz. You could have had the Miz or Melo side with Logan Paul, and then you could have easily had any other babyface on SmackDown help out. You could have had Jimmy Uso in this position, Ron Killings, and yeah, that would have fit perfectly. You could have easily had Ron Killings, R-Truth, and Mello right here. Like this would have played out the exact same. You didn't. I don't understand why Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, two guys who should be in the main event, helping out Logan Paul and Jelly Roll. I don't understand. It doesn't even fit Drew McIntyre's character to even want to help a guy like Logan Paul. I get that they're both heels, but Drew McIntyre is a different type of heel where he shouldn't just be siding with any type of. I don't understand it, but this is the route they're going. I just don't understand the logic behind this, but it is what it is. I don't mind the celebrity involvement. I just don't like the people involved. If you would have just replaced Drew McIntyre or Randy Orton with like two mid card guys, I really wouldn't have. Like, if Dominic Mysterio was in this spot, I wouldn't complain. But Drew McIntyre and Randy, it just seems so out of place. I just don't understand it. But Drew McIntyre ends up losing. I don't. I highly doubt they're going to have another match because this feud feels like this is just mainly a Jelly Roll and Logan Paul feud at this point. So we'll see where this goes. Afterwards, we end up getting Naomi and Jade. Naomi ends up attacking Jade, who was in the crowd. They end up having a little brawl. They end up security ends up breaking them apart, and then Nick Aldis ends up making an announcement that Bianca Belair will be the special guest referee in their no holds barred match at Evolution, which was, I wouldn't say shock. It was shocking, but to be fair, once the moment he made the announcement of it being a special guest referee, I already knew it was going to be Bianca Belair. So it looks like my prediction of her being in the Battle Royal is going to be wrong, but I was technically right of her making her return at Evolution, even though she technically made it here. But I had a feeling that she was going to make some type of appearance at Evolution. So that would be very interesting. Interested to see how that plays out. Interested with the type of involvement that's going to be, and very shocking that they're going to have her be in another special guest referee situation because the last time she was a special guest referee, that didn't work out so well for Bianca Belair. So I'm curious to see, are they going to do another situation where she just constantly get her ass whooped throughout the entire match, her being special guest referee, knowing that there's no disqualification that she can call like she did the last time. So very interested to see how that plays out. Now we end up getting Solo Sikoa versus Jimmy Uso, United States Championship match. Solo Sikoa ends up winning due to help of the Bloodline, of course, and then the Bloodline ends up attacking Jimmy Uso. Jacob Fatu ends up making the save, and that's all you really need to know. I didn't really need to go that depth on this match. The match wasn't bad. It was actually better than I expected, but we knew how this match was going to go. My only concern is that I don't understand why I get why Jacob Fatu made the save to a degree. He made it super late. Like, it took him forever. Like, he waited until after Samoa spiked him, which was very weird. And then he just 1v4 the entire bloodline. I get Jacob Fatu is the strong, dominant character, but come on. Really, though? Like, why? I understand him 1v2. Like, I understand him taking out 2 or 3 members, but he should at least got taken out by at least 1 member by a sneak attack or something. But we'll see where this. We know where this is going with Jacob Fatu eventually dethroning Solo and taking the U.S. Championship back. I just kind of wish that the story and that they had more time to build towards things, but every pay-per-view is right next to each other, that it kind of everything is just extremely rushed like this show. But to be fair, Saturday night's main event is always a rush show due to the time limit and all that. Now we get some unfortunate news with Seth Rollins and LA Knight. Seth Rollins ends up suffering a knee injury, which allowed LA Knight to pick up the victory, but it seems like this knee injury is serious, and this is going to cause a lot of problems for WWE because this is one of the major storylines that they was building towards, especially with guys like CM Punk, Roman Reigns, LA Knight, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn. Like they was putting a lot of wrestlers in the storyline that having Seth Rollins with any type of injury kind of ruins all of it. This also halts Braun Breaker's push, Bronson Reed's push, the Money in the Bank briefcase. So if he's out for a while, what do they do with that? Like, do they just keep the briefcase on him until he comes back? Does he have to give up the briefcase? What happens with LA Knight in this feud? A lot of questions are going to be left unanswered, and it's going to cause a huge effect on multiple storylines. This is really bad. Hopefully, it's not a major injury. Hopefully, this is something that can heal in a short amount of time, that maybe only a month or two, where he doesn't really need to take that much time off TV. Because if he has to take a long time off, this is going to cause a lot of problems in that men's division, especially in the main event scene, because the main event scene isn't that entertaining right now, and it's going to be even less entertaining without CM Punk. I mean, without Seth Rollins. So hopefully he has a speedy recovery, because the main event scene needs Seth Rollins as is right now. Now we get the main event: Goldberg versus Gunther. This match, it was fun. It was better than I expected. I thought it would be way worse. They played the trope of, does Goldberg has one more match in him? Him trying to overcome Gunther, him being, of course, older in age, while Gunther is in his prime. It was a moment where Goldberg ends up trying to go for a spear, but he accidentally spearing the ref. But he ends up getting the upper hand. He ends up spearing Goldberg. Goldberg ended up getting a little too overconfident, too cocky, because he ends up taking the knee brace of Goldberg, starts hitting him with it, but he gets a bit too overconfident. This allowed Goldberg to hit the spear into the jackhammer. There was no referee. The referee finally comes and try to count the 3 count, but Gunther kicks out. But eventually, you end up getting Gunther. He ends up getting the upper hand and ends up putting him in a sleeper and picks up the victory, retaining the World Heavyweight Championship. And then it ends with Goldberg cutting a motivational speech of his retirement, which was good. This was a good way to send off Goldberg. They didn't do too much. I like they didn't do no extra stuff. I like that they still kept Goldberg and Gunther as like rivals instead of them doing like a respect thing. Overall, this show was mid, but to be honest, I didn't have high expectations. It's one of the reasons why I'm uploading it so late, and that I didn't upload it as soon as possible, because I just didn't care for it. That, to be honest with you, so that's why I waited to even react to Saturday night's main event. But overall, those are my overall thoughts. Opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.